Welcome to the interview for Oak Lawn Toastmasters. So, you have been a Toastmaster here at Oak Lawn for how long?
About 13 years. The club's been chartered about 11, and it took about 2 years to get chartered. So I was there for that pre-chartering period. I calculated today, it's almost exactly 13 years.
Wow, 13 years. Tell me a little bit about the chartering process.
To become a charter club, you need so many members. That number has changed over the years. You need to start off as a possible club. And as you build up members, you get to a certain number. I think we needed about 20, and that might still be the number. So once you get 20 members, you can have everyone pay their dues, fill out the forms, and we sent it all in as a big packet in one application. Plus, there's some other paperwork to get a club going.
Okay, awesome. So let me step back a little bit. I jump right in because I love history. Tell me about your Toastmasters journey, because you said you've been a part of our club. We've been here for 11 years, but you've been a Toastmaster for 13. So you start, how did you get there? Who invited you? Why did you go?
Well, I've always been interested in public speaking. It's something that I think I have a natural knack for. I don't have that stage fright that people have, although I always say I don't have stage fright, but I always have a little, even though I say I don't. There's sometimes when I get nervous, especially in a competitive situation or a big situation where there's a lot of people, but I don't have that terrifying stage fright that many people talk about. So I'd always found public speaking to be of interest. It was one of my hobbies, watching people make speeches and learning about great speeches. So when I heard about Toastmasters, I decided maybe, even though I'm a pretty good public speaker and I have a background in it because of my college degree, I wanted to be better at it. So I saw an ad in the newspaper one day. They were having a demonstration meeting in Blue Island at the public library. I went down and I was at the first demonstration meeting, and I've been with the club ever since that night.
Oh, wow. What a wonderful story. So you actually have a background in communications. So that's something unlike a lot of Toastmasters. It's great you realize that even though you have that background, that all of us need a little polishing here and there.
That's true. My degree is in speech communications from Illinois State University. Go Redbirds. And I was always pretty good at public speaking. At least I think I was good in impromptu speaking, but not as good as people you see on TV. Let's say a politician who can give a 45-minute speech at the State of the Union or at a convention. I want to be as good as those people, or people who can really command a room. And Toastmasters was the place where you can learn those skills if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So because you've been here, I know that you recently in the past year have earned your Distinguished Toastmaster.
Yes.
Year, which did require you to have to speak for that length of time. Tell me about that preparation process.
Well, to become a Distinguished Toastmaster, you have to accomplish 40 speeches, 40 what we would call manual speeches, 40 prepared speeches that follow certain criteria, so you can get graded on them, evaluated on them, and you learn different skills from different speeches. Back when I was a Toastmaster, we had a different education when I started, we had a different education program, and you had to do 10 manual speeches, which are the first 10 speeches. And then we had to go on to 4 manuals that each had 5 speeches in it. So it really, that's 30, plus you had to do some other ones. So it really became quite a journey in that you not only learn how to give speeches for different occasions and in different situations, but you also learn how to lead a meeting, how to lead a club, how to be involved in not only your individual club, but the area, which is the next level up from the club, and then the division, and then the district, and serve. You have to be a leader. You have to do a big project at the end, which we call the high performance leadership, where you form a team, where you set a goal, you accomplish a goal, you lead the team toward that goal. It takes a while, and it's very rewarding to get it, and I'm proud to get it. And I was probably my most proud day in Toastmasters was the day I got my recognition and a plaque that they sent you from Toastmasters International to say that I was in fact a distinguished Toastmaster.
That's awesome. And Oak Lawn Toastmasters is so proud of you for your accomplishments,
Thank you.
all the things that you've done to contribute to our club. So over the years, tell us about the roles that you've played as a Toastmaster, a part of not only Oak Lawn Toastmasters, but the district and the area.
When we first were getting together, we needed to elect officers to the club before we were even chartered. I called the person who was founding our club and I said, well, I think I might take a role. I might be a treasurer, I might be vice president of membership or something. And I remember him saying, oh, I have bigger plans for you. You should be president of the club. So I was, in fact, the first president of the club even before we chartered.
Okay.
Back then. So I don't think it's official because we weren't chartered yet, but I've been president of the club twice. I've been vice president of membership and for 1 year, and I've been the treasurer of the club. Out of the 10 years we've been chartered, I think I've been at about 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Sort of like, oh, Matt will do it. Don't worry about it. So that's been my role. So in the club, those are the offices that I've held. Now, in the area, which is, as I mentioned before, the level above the club, I was what we called area director back then. And I was in charge of 5 clubs, make sure that they were meeting their goals, that they were turning in their reports on time, that they were succeeding. And I've also served the district as, especially the area in our division, as the Toastmaster of a number of contests, which I really enjoy. I think that's a bunch of fun to be the Toastmaster, and you lead the contest, you announce the contestants, you control the entire meeting as Toastmaster. You make sure that the rules are understood, that when there's a moment of silence for judges to mark their ballots, you keep the room quiet, but you also have to keep it entertaining, keep it moving, and keep the thing going. So that's been one of my great pleasures, to be a Toastmaster at a contest.
I have always enjoyed when you have been a Toastmaster at our club, and I believe my first year that I joined Toastmaster, I'm almost positive that you were the Toastmaster for that club contest that I believe was at a college. I'm not sure. So that would have been either 2015 or 2016, because I joined in 2015 and I came to a contest either for the area or for the district. I remember it was
Probably the area.
Classroom. There was a large classroom, so I can remember that. And I can remember that you knew how to keep the momentum going, because there are parts in the contest where things are kind of slow, kind of quiet. There's transitional moments, and you do pretty good in filling those spaces, which is part of our Toastmaster training, learning how to do those things, because it doesn't always come naturally. You seem to do it quite naturally.
It requires a great deal of impromptu work.
Yes.
You have to be sure. Sometimes things go wrong. I was Toastmaster at one contest one time, and there was a power outage and all the lights in the room went out in the middle of a speech.
Oh, wow.
So we had to figure out what to do. There were windows, we pull up the shades, we just kept going, but you have to make a comment about that. You can't just let that go. You have to make something lighthearted. Oh, well, don't worry about it. We can get through it. You got to move forward with it. And there was some other times, we had one time where we were having a contest at a library on one side of their community room, while on the other side of the room, they were setting up for an election. So they were moving boxes and banging doors and dropping things and plugging in stuff, and it wasn't going to work. So we had to root up the entire contest, all the people, get another room at another nearby library, and move the whole shebang over to the other library.
Oh,
so that
wow.
was pretty crazy. So you never know what's going to happen in Toastmasters, but working together with your club mates and the other Toastmasters who are there, you can accomplish great things.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that in Toastmasters that we get those experiences where you just never expect what's going to happen. And the fact that there's a team of people who are able to work with you and be able to maneuver and manipulate what was necessary to keep the contest going and move around. So thank you for the the work that you've done and being an example so that those of us who are coming behind you will know just how to do it.
Well, you never know. Toastmasters is it's a safe place to make a mistake, as we like to say.
Yes.
You can stumble, you can fall, and there's always someone there to pick you up. But that's not necessarily the case outside of Toastmasters in the world. So if you're at a meeting sometime at work and you're leading the meeting or you're giving your presentation, all the lights go out, what are you going to do? Well, you might have an experience in Toastmasters of how to handle that, or at least you know that it's not the end of the world and you can move on or do something to make the situation better. And that's what we learn in Toastmasters, how to not only give presentations, how to be leaders, but how to handle the unexpected.
Definitely. I definitely appreciate the real world experience that we get here. So since you brought it up, Matt, can you tell me about a time when you actually had some transferable experiences from Toastmaster to maybe an event that you attended that was outside of Toastmasters?
For 7 years, I was the executive director of a not-for-profit organization. And in that role, I was required to lead meetings, to be the speaker at fundraising events. We used to have a big 5K and a 10K and a Memorial Day parade through the neighborhood. And at some point, they would hand me a microphone and say, you have to start the race or say a few words. And I remember one time it was a really hot day. And I said, there's 3 things to remember. And I couldn't remember what those 3 things were. I said, be safe, drink a lot of water, and drink a lot of water. Maybe it was a mistake, but you just keep going. You can't just stop and say, and forget the 3rd one. So you learn from Toastmasters to keep talking. Nobody knows you made a mistake. As far as they're concerned, those were the 3 things you wanted to say, and you just move on. So that job gave me a lot of opportunities to take the leadership skills that I learned in Toastmasters, how to run a meeting, how to form a team, how to get the best out of that team, as well as the public speaking aspect of it, and apply those every day in the job that I had. So that was very rewarding.
Oh, that's awesome. So Matt, tell me, if I was a person who was thinking about joining Toastmasters, because our video will be shared, and thank you for those of you who are watching right now, who are considering either Oak Lawn Toastmasters, or maybe you're considering another Toastmasters around the world, because we are global. Tell me, what would you say to a person who's thinking about joining Toastmasters? Why should they join us?
You should join Toastmasters, period, end of report. But you should do it because each one of us has goals we want to accomplish. Everyone can be better at their presentation skills. Everyone can learn how to be a better leader. Everyone can learn how to feel more comfortable in front of a group of people. It's been said a number of times that the greatest fear people have is speaking in front of a group. And that is something we can train you to not worry about anymore. So if that's your concern, join Toastmasters. If you want to get better at public speaking, join Toastmasters. If you want to be a better leader and make mistakes in a group that will always support you so you can get those mistakes out of your way, so when you're applying them in your job or in some other aspect of your life, you'll have them behind you, those mistakes behind you, you'll learn from those, join Toastmasters. Everyone can learn from what we offer at Toastmasters. Even someone who's an accomplished speaker with a degree in speech communications like me can learn, and so can the person who gets up in front of the room and completely blanks on what they want to say, or is super nervous to even stand up in front of a crowd. We're here to support you. We're here to help you. We all start in different places, but we're all going to the same goal. That's to be a better communicator and a better leader.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your life experience in Toastmasters, your journey along the way. I definitely appreciate you as a not new, Toastmaster, all the things that you've done for me personally in terms of giving me great evaluations, helping me to become a better communicator as well as a better leader, because most people who know me in the club will tell you that sitting here doing this video is a huge jump. And this is just one of the many things that I've learned in Toastmasters. And I want to tell you personally and publicly, thank you for all that you've done for me and for Oak Lawn Toastmasters.
You're You're very kind, Michelle. It's been a great pleasure having you in the club and being your club mate. And it's fun for me to see new members, see them grow, see them achieve. I've seen you with great changes in your leadership and your ability to speak in front of people. You get better and better every time. And that's what we're going for in Toastmasters. You're a shining example of how our program can help people. And I am just here to help like we all are. Thank you very much for having me today.
Awesome. Thank you. And for those of you that are watching, please click the link below if you're interested in joining Oak Lawn Toastmasters, or if you're interested in learning more about Toastmasters International. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.